the older generation, the parents that have sons or daughters that are at the age of marriage. I don't know what your experience was, but youth are having it very, very tough. When they find the right person, then they have to deal with the family. You go to many different families, the youth, the two of them, they've agreed, they don't have any issue with the culture, and here we go. No, it has to be from Iran. The person can't speak Farsi, forget it. No, she has to be from the same village in Pakistan, or from the same city in Pakistan. Or, what is this? Or a better one, something that I have to deal with, I think every time there is a camp of youth. Is Sayyid marrying non-Sayyid okay? I'm kind of wondering, where does that question come from? Until I got more and more familiar with the culture. Of course it's okay. Who said it's not? But we drive the kids nuts on this. We push them to the extent that they either have to, it's the borders of sin, of kufr. They either have to go and commit sin. They either have to go, this is a problem, brothers and sisters. I'm being very frank with you. A lot of the sisters, by a lot I don't mean 80%, but it's a good percentage. They're going and finding maraja that say the permission of the father is not necessary, because they see no way out of this. It's happening, all right? Let's not close our eyes to it. This is a reality that's going on. And the reason behind it is this. The sister and the brothers have the same problem, but now in terms of the law, they don't have the problem of seeking the permission of their father. Although, they better not go and get married permanently without the permission of their father, because that's going to mean hell. All right, their life is going to be hell. Although Islamically it's not required, but their life will turn into hell. These are problems that we are causing. These are problems that we are causing, brothers and sisters. I would like to refer to two of the verses of the Holy Quran, that the gist of them tells us this, that in one verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, take from the halal that I provide you with. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. And then in the following verse it says, Shaitan orders and commands to fahsha. It's an interesting combination. First it says, take from the halal. We have a lot of verses that say, don't commit sin. Alright? Plenty of verses. But we have verses that said, take from the halal. With a lot of emphasis. Why aren't you taking from the halal? It emphasizes that. Then it says, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. According to the tafasir, not taking what Islam says is allowed, not taking that path in our practice, is following the khutuwat shaitan. And then in the following verse it says, look, don't think that shaitan is going to command you to do anything good. He's commanding you for fahsha. A lot of the halal things we make haram on ourselves, thinking that we are helping our youth. We say the youth should not get married until they have finished their education. They should not get married until they have, I don't know, house, car, whatever. They should not get married to someone outside of this culture or a different culture. We don't know what they are. All these different things that we have. There's other examples that are more taboo than what I'm talking about, so I won't even mention them. But some of the youth know what I'm talking about. the halal that shaitan tells us to stay away from, it is shaitan that tells us stay away from it. And his reasoning for it is not any good. Because when you stay away from that halal, alright, you're bound to get into sin. إِنَّمَا يَأْمُرُ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. You stay away from halal when you need it, you're going to end up in haram. It reminds me of a funny story. I don't know how true it is. It said there was this guy who wanted really badly to taste how wine tastes. He wanted to taste it. Obviously it's haram, you can't have it, right? There's only one way he could have had it, so he decided to take that choice. He grabbed a bottle of wine and he started walking in the desert. Okay. He walked and walked and walked and walked until he was dying of thirst so he can open the bottle and drink from it. That's what we do. It's funny, but we do that. We stay away from the halal, alright? We make our children stay away from halal, they're bound to commit the sin. And you think that life that has started with sin is going to end up the same way that it would have without that? And the other verse that I want to refer to is the verse of the Holy Quran that talks about, and we usually mention this in the context of the Jahili Arabs. Okay. And we love to talk about it intellectually, about how some people just follow blindly the teachings that they've received from their forefathers. They're not willing to change that. Okay. Even the Shia, you say, somebody who accepts this religion without reason, they're following blindly what their parents have given them. That's not good. You should go and study and learn. The verses say, don't follow blindly your forefathers. That applies to you and I, brothers and sisters. We are following blindly exactly what our parents and our forefathers did in regards to marriage, in regards to a lot of other things. And when we even hear it, as I said, I'm being very brave when I'm talking about this stuff. I know how some of you guys are looking at me and thinking about me, or whoever is going to be listening to this later on. But I have to do this. I don't care what people say, all right? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put on my shoulder, and I have to say these things. But I am holding back a lot of things that I'm not expressing. They're in here, but I can't express because they're even more taboo than what I'm saying. We are following exactly the footsteps without looking into it. And even when we are told Islam does not say that, we say it's culturally wrong. And that's fine. That's an appropriate answer. This child of ours is dying, is on the verge of exploding and committing sins. We say culturally it's wrong. We're going to be responsible on the Day of Judgment. This is a few points that I wanted to discuss in regards to وَارْحَمُوا صِغَارَكُمْ. Okay. The younger generation are at the mercy of the older generation. Okay. The majority of the youth are not going to just break off from the family and leave. But you're giving them a very, very, very tough time. Let's listen to the advice of the Holy Prophet and see how your life is going to become so much easier as well. If families were like this, that we don't, first of all, everything is based on Islam, based on the teachings. The red lines are only the red lines of Islam and nothing beyond that. We don't create any barriers, anything that makes life more difficult. And then when we are trying to help our children, we don't push them according to our taste to the extent that they would be exploding and, God forbid, either cutting off ties with the family or having the concept of uquq. Another thing that very briefly I would like to touch upon before getting back to the understanding of the dua is a verse of the Holy Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. One of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He has created you as pairs, okay, as couples, as husbands and wives. And this pair is made from yourselves. It's one of you. It's not another species. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. First of all, this is supposed to lead to tranquility. Marriage is supposed to live or lead to tranquility. Not that people start, cracking jokes about how you're limiting your freedom with marriage. And how it's very difficult going home and whatever happens at home. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. He put love and mercy between you. What happens with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us is that He gives us the initial push. The rest of it is with us. Why is it, brothers and sisters, that marriages are ending up in divorce so frequently out here, especially? This is a serious problem. This is a serious problem that we're having. If we don't address this issue and we don't learn how to resolve the problem, our generations to come are going to have serious issues. I don't even know if we're going to have generations if we're not going to resolve this problem. There's supposed to be rahmah in the house. Mercy in the house. A lot of the youth refer to us, discuss their issues before they get married, and they're extremely picky on their spouse. Some people about their looks, to the extent that, there was this joke. I don't know if you've been down to LA. Some of the brothers in LA were saying we're looking for, or maybe it was others that were saying that about them, that we're looking for Hizbullahi Barbies. Okay, I don't know if you can find that. But anyway, some people are so picky on the looks before marriage. Others are so picky on trying to know the person, compatibility, and they're wondering what this compatibility is all about. Recite a salawat, please. Sometimes I hear youth engaging in conversations and chats online for years, and then after a year they say, well, I don't think we're compatible. There's this concept of compatibility. Then others who are more religious, they become ultra religious, and nobody's religious enough for them. Say this guy or that sister, no. It's got to be someone that's better than me. Who are you? That they have to be better than you. You think you're a great person? All that happens before marriage. After marriage, nobody comes and speaks to us.